Welcome! If you are new here, hello, my name is Brenna. I am your always to blame but never guilty DM, and welcome to Tales from the Catacombs. This is our tabletop RPG adventure that we are thrilled to share with you. This game uses the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition D20 system and rules, and the setting is a homebrew based off of the rock album Razia's Shadow by Forgive Durden. We have a brief introduction to the setting that you can read at your leisure, and I hope you will, so that you can be as immersed in the world as our players are. Without further ado, please enjoy this episode of Razia's Shadow, a 1,000-year interlude. Let us recap. Session 9, Saker's Keepers. Captain Nora immediately told the novices their options. Stay and fight the beasts, or leave and take Snow to safety. The party was split. Stan took Snow to the wagon, along with Vaughn and the watchmen that were part of the original search party. Viola swore to fight alongside Captain Nora so her friends could get away safely. Bo, unaware of the new options presented, took a minute to peek around the battered wagon belonging to the company The Silver Cat. In short order, a new wave of the swarm of midnight chickens struck. The combat was swift, and the novices witnessed some of the skill level of their authority figures, but no one left Undra entirely unscathed, as the first wagon finally charged ahead with everyone except Captain Nora and Moonridge. They still had their warden, Kalain, to search for. The novices had a short time to rest on the ride before making their way through the gates of the Peace District and swiftly being taken to Saker's Keep. A dwarven acolyte named Aglin was made aware that Snow was, in fact, using magic to make himself look sick, and he snuck the crown from the underground cavern back with him. Aglin assured that he would pass the crown to the head acolyte, who could handle it safely. Then Snow returned to the others for celebratory drinks. Bo promised to meet them shortly, but first, he made a stop back at the stables to speak to Sazian, the stable hand. Bo offered him a job opportunity among those whom he was confident would treat a feral better than he was being treated in Grati-Minot. Sazian was undecided and said he would need to speak to his brother Darman first. As Bo traveled to the Wild Pike and the Novice Hut, a voice appeared in his head via sending, with promised answers and now a favor in return. Before we get back to that exciting bit of business with Bo, that I'm actually super eager to hear his response, I'm going to make myself wait and you wait. And we're actually going to pop over to the Wild Pike, where there is merriment awaiting the others of our novices. So you make your way back from Saker's Keep. You head back north to that kind of larger opened area, passing by a number of shops. You also see some empty, kind of locked up for the night, smaller vendor wagons. And then you arrive to the very familiar now, although it's been a few days, the very familiar Wild Pike. It's a large venue. This is a tavern that is clearly meant to seat quite a few people. It has spread out tables. Each one has a few chairs, rounded, nicely carved wood. There are actually even some stands set up as if this were an event hall in and of itself. There are 4 areas for like bar tabletop areas. It's a little odd. The only odd kind of thing about it is that it's very quiet at this point. It's late. It's late. You guys have gotten back in probably well after midnight now, with everything taken care of. So it doesn't have that same big boisterous atmosphere that you had seen when you first arrived, certainly. But there are a few straggling patrons. There's some gentle music playing, just a single soft lyre strumming a few notes here and there. It doesn't even sound like a complete song necessarily. You see the bar tables themselves are quite empty, but you walk in and you are able to take a seat where you please. I just put them over by the bar table where you do see a man, a humanoid. He's got this long hair pulled into a kind of messy bun in the back of his head. Looks like he's cleaning out one of the glasses, kind of huffed on it a little bit, gives it another scrub. Actually, fairly decent looking little dish rag. Eyes his work, puts it down, starts grabbing up the next one. What would you guys like to do? You finally made it for drinks. It's time.
Is that Darian?
It does
Or is
appear
it
to
a
be
different-
Darian, yes.
Sweet. Perfect. Snow will go right up to the bar and announce his arrival. Darian, my friend, how are you doing this beautiful evening?
He looks you up and down, and this kind of look of shock goes over his face. And that slowly broadens into this bright smile. Well, if it isn't the poets! Welcome back! Dang! So you are alive after all. Oh,
I am, and he holds up his hands so you can see the blood on them. I'm
that's
alive.
a story.
It definitely is. It's definitely a story.
Well, sit
These are
down.
my friends. This is Stan. This is Viola. They're wonderful.
He he half bows from the waist, stands back up. A pleasure to meet you both.
And you
Please.
as well.
Have a seat, have a seat. What can I get you guys? It's late.
What would you like?
I mean, after tonight, I could use something, but I'm not looking to just not be able to make it back to the barracks.
Oh, come on. We gotta have a little fun, though. Come on. Drinks are on me. Whatever y'all want.
And already Darian is reaching underneath the countertop. He's laying down 3 glasses. They're not like just your normal kind of a typical stein. It's like they're small. They look delicate, kind of carved to look crystalline, as he places those 2 in front of the ladies. And he grabs a third one that looks a little hardier, like a proper stein, and kind of like jams it down in front of Snow as he eyes you all and anticipates what you'd like to drink.
Oh, real quick, back to the mind link situation, because I believe Bo and I are mind link. Was Snow in on that? I can't remember.
I am.
Okay.
No, I am. I don't know
I just
about
wanted to
the rest of
mention
y'all.
that every kind of like whatever we were walking, like when we left the keep and whenever we got to certain landmarks, Viola was definitely updating Bo with their location, like just, hey Bo, we're here. So she definitely just said, hey Bo, just checking in. We just got to the Wild Pike. We're grabbing a drink. Do you want anything?
I'll look at the menu when I get there. I don't really know what they got.
Are you coming now?
It'll be a little bit longer.
Okay, no worries. Be safe. And then Viola will just reiterate to the group that Bo is taking his time a little bit and he'll be here before too long.
And Bo is rolling his eyes.
I'm imagining he's like just now getting to the stables and he's about to say something and just Viola, hey Bo!
A drink with friends to celebrate a miracle of return is well shared. I'll take something strong.
Very good. All right. And you see him. He turns around. His back is to you, but his face every now and then kind of turns back in case someone says something else. But he seems to have the entire shelf memorized as he just reaches for one of the bottles and then looks back, is kind of eyeing it again, maybe comparing the 2 real quick, makes a last minute decision to switch that out for a different one. None of these are those 2-foot tall bottles that Snow can see. One of them is still up top. There's another of those bottles up at the tippy top, but he's looking at kind of this middle shelf as he's deciding, and then he grabs one, starts to pour a clear looking liquid into Stan's glass. Kind of gets it to a good place in the glass before he stops. Next up, he goes to put that bottle back on the shelf.
I'll take something
Darian,
half as strong. You must always keep your wits about you.
Keep your wits about you. All right, I think I have a wits
but make
about
sure
you.
it's good. Don't skimp on us.
Snow, I thought we were friendly.
I'm
Are you
teasing.
saying
I know you would never.
I would do that? Of course. And he turns around and he's like, I actually think I have some of the wits about you. Where's my wits about you? That was, I'll did that order get in? Oh, it did get in. And he kind of goes back. He goes through a door in the back. In about 15 seconds, he's back in with this kind of stout bottle. It looks like the bottle at the top is kind of gilded with this dripping, kind of like Maker's Mark with the wax just like dripping over it as he pops the top, and he pours this amber beverage in there. And he's like, I didn't know you knew about Wits About You. It's not a Yerushin one, you know. And he stores that one too. And you wanted Snow?
What would you suggest? What's your favorite?
My favorite. He looks back at the wall of alcohol. Honestly, when it's been a really long day and I walk
Been
into a
along
city.
several days. Several days.
Yes, when it's been several days and pretty much everyone's written me off as dead, and I come back home and say, surprise, I'm not dead, I'd go for something sweet like a mead. Does mead sound good to you?
I will have one, please. Thank you.
Excellent. And he turns back around and he looks at the shelf up and down, finds one, seems happy with it, pulls it off the shelf. And this one's in another kind of delicate looking bottle with various imagery of fruits on the label. And he pours it, and you can immediately smell the sweetness coming from it, this honeyed mix with berry flavor. And he says, this one is actually just coming out of season. So now's a good time for it anyway. So totaled up, it's gonna be, let's see, 8 copper. That'll be silver piece.
Said a piece each.
Silver, please.
Snow will put down 4.
I'll make sure Emil hears about that. She'll appreciate the tip. Thank you. And he slides that aside. All right. Also, so am I going to get to hear where you were for 4 days? We were worried about you, you know.
You know, it's actually super wild because for us it was only 2 days. Absolutely insane. No idea how that happened. We didn't get drunk though, I will tell you that.
You read my
I didn't
mind.
I didn't save any of it, any of the beautiful, beautiful wine that you gave me. Unfortunately, I did drink all of it before we went. But yeah, 2 days for us, 4 days apparently for everyone else. Hopefully, I don't know, hopefully Captain Nora will be able to explain something to us.
Time is a construct anyway.
Admirable. That's what a lot of my patrons say when they have had a little too much. It's a construct anyway, and then they're chugging it back. And next thing they know, they're 3 days late to their own assignments.
Surely the
do?
decision to be late was not
Wow.
ours.
Well, whatever that was, we are glad that you're back. Just in earnest. You had a lot of people worried.
I'm touched.
Well,
And
don't let me.
Snow will
Mhm.
get his staff and start making flower crowns to refresh the couple that have since died, as it's been a little while.
Aw. Viola, I do need you to make me a constitution check.
That is a 10.
The 3 of you sit to enjoy your drinks. Darian nods, not trying to take up too much of your time, and you see him step away to quickly speak to someone who seems to be behind the door. Then he himself goes behind the door. He peeks back out. If you need anything, just holler. And he goes back behind
I
the
do
door.
have one
Oh.
question for you, super quick, Darian, if it is at all possible.
Hmm.
Do you perhaps have like a private room that we could chat in, the 3 of us? We have a lot of well, we'll figure him out later. If there's any place that we could have a conversation in private, by any chance?
Private room, huh? In the most populated part of this entire city, huh? And he kind of looks around at
I
the.
knew if anyone could do it, it would be you. So
He looks around at the very open wild pike, the 3/4 of the tables unoccupied, and the sparse people at the other tables, and he says, well, if you want to sit at that table across the way from that lovely young lady, you'll be furthest from anybody. And he indicates in the top right of your map, there's a table that no one is around that is directly across the way from this woman who's sitting by herself at the table. Her table is entirely empty. And you do note that she is holding, her back is mostly to you as she seems to be facing the door, which is up top here. And you do see her holding something in her arms, but it's hard to see what it is just with her back to you. And then he just kind of like shrugs a little, half helpless, like, best I can do in our very open public forum.
No worries. Thank you anyway.
Sure thing. Let me know if you need anything. And you hear him shout, Emil! Emil, honey! And he goes behind the door.
Shall we?
We shall.
Lead the way.
So you guys move over to that table yonder.
Hey, Bo, we found a table. Whenever you walk in the front door, if you just come in and then go to the left, we're in that corner over there, okay?
Got it, Viola.
I love it. I think I would like just a real quick perception check from everyone.
16.
11.
24?
16, a 24, and an 11. So, okay, you guys start settling in.
Snow finishes up a crown of black roses and hands it to Stan.
She'll take it, thank you, and put it on her head.
Is it over like your helmet and everything? Okay.
Did she actually drink her drink?
She has it with her.
That's not what she asked.
Not yet.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys, Warforged. That's all I'm saying. We haven't seen no sign of eating or drinking.
It's true, we really haven't though yet. Even when she revealed she didn't eat anything, she was just like, this is what I look like.
Yeah, she just
And
has a
now it's
human
not.
skin mask.
We're not yet
Well, you'll
convinced
notice she
she's human.
situated herself at a table. That way, the only people who can see her are Snow and Viola. So, once they're settled, she will pull down her mask and take a little sip.
Good.
Proof of life.
That was why I asked. That's why I asked for a private room.
Yeah, you're only gonna get so much here. But as you guys are sitting there, you do see who's facing out. So Snow and Viola, you guys do see a woman just as the doors are opening, and you see a few people coming in who seem to be in the watchman kind of garb, that cloak that now looks familiar to you from the watchmen who were with you, who had come to fetch you. You see a few of them walking in, and kind of just, it seems very good timing, just as they're walking in, you see a woman walking out from behind that bar area. She has black hair, it's plaited. She's in a very simple barmaid dress. She's a very slender looking woman. The closer she gets, as she comes out holding a small pouch. Well, it's not a small pouch. She comes out holding a pouch. And the closer you get, you can see that she has her makeup done stupendously. Her lips are a beautiful blushing red. She's got this perfect model touch of blush on her face. Her eyebrows seem perfectly done up in these sharp angles that are tasteful. She's wearing this blue dress over some white shortened sleeves. Almost most notably about her, she's wearing this beautiful necklace. It's a simple kind of leather strap around her neck, but it has this ornate metal design pendant on it. What's actually the most notable about her are the completely unhidden, pulled back or facing back, almost gold horns on her head that are sitting between the plaits in her hair. And she kind of walks with this elegant saunter about her as she approaches the small group of watchmen who entered and hands off this package to them. You hear just a very brief bit of hushed conversation. Something about quickly, something about take care, something about, hope everything turns out all right, and they exit. She looks your way, gives a little wave. Do you need anything over there?
I think we're good. Thank you.
Wonderful. Have a good night. If you need us, well, Darian already said, just, holler, as he likes to say. So brutish. But then she kind of softly giggles and then starts making her way back.
Thank you.
Of course! And she's like making rounds. Back to you three.
So, Snow, you want to give us a little recap of what happened after you turned invisible?
Yes, what happened? What was it?
He takes a long swig from his mead.
Was it the crown?
I had a very interesting decision to make. Because actually, question first. Stan, do you want the crown? I still have it.
No, you don't.
How do you know?
It's not on your person anymore. It was. Up until we got into the, until you left at the keep. It's there now, isn't it?
Are you sure? Do
I'm very sure.
you want to go back for it?
Not particularly. I want to make sure it should be safe there. It should be secure there, shouldn't it?
I would like to insight check Stan.
Okay. Stan, you are welcome to, if you want to, you are welcome to contest it. You do not need to if you don't want to. If you are going to contest it, you'd be welcome to roll a deception, persuasion, or you do not need to contest it.
She's not gonna contest it.
Okay.
15.
She's not hiding anything. She's very genuine, you tell her concern is much more for Snow than the crown.
You really wanted it before, which was my concern, which is why I took it from you.
Well, yes, because I could keep it safer.
Yeah, and then you were a moron and put it on. So obviously you weren't just concerned about keeping it safe.
It was the best way to take care of it at the moment.
You honestly believe that?
Should I not? In the moment, it was the right thing to do.
Hang on. It didn't do anything to Stan when she put it on.
I'm pretty sure you must have noticed the extreme personality shift that she went through.
Yeah, but that was before
was
she
not-
put it on.
That was not her.
I do
And then
understand that,
after
but
she lost it as well.
yes, and I understand that, but she put it on, and I guess her hood was up, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I guess it wasn't directly like skin to skin contact, but she didn't end up with like a ring in her hair and black stuff coming out of her eyes and into her veins.
That's what it did
Yeah,
to
probably
you.
because I took it from you before it could do that. You're welcome for carrying the brunt.
I didn't ask you to carry the brunt. I didn't want you to carry the brunt. That's why I had it in the first place.
I know. That was very clearly a evil, powerful magical item, and it wasn't to be messed with or worn by anyone. So, yes, I took it. And then,
Did you put it
as
on?
you saw, maybe for a little while, against my better judgment, I wanted to see Stan's reaction, see if it would do the same thing.
Stan wants to insight check him.
Snow, roll persuasion or deception.
That was a nat 20.
So it is a 19 versus a natural 20 leading to a 26. So, Snow, with that in mind.
You can tell that he's obviously hiding things and maybe just like making stuff up a bit as he goes. He's not being truthful. Not entirely truthful, rather. Some of it's true and some of it's not.
What are you not saying? What are you not telling us? There's more to this than you're revealing right now, and
Yeah.
I
well,
want to
the
trust you,
reason-
but I can't.
Same, actually. I did trust you until you decided to put it on, and that's when I stopped.
But you yourself were tempted to put it on, you just said. So should you really be holding that against Stan?
I don't know if he did put it on. What aren't you telling us, Snow?
I didn't. No, I didn't put it on. I resisted its temptations, its urges, its will, without too much difficulty either. It was illusion. He'll use minor illusion to make the ring around his head and the black veins and everything, and then he'll drop minor illusion. The
Stan's
blood's
gonna reach
real,
over
but
and like gently touch his hair where the ring had been.
that's my head, yes.
Viola's just sitting there with like her jaw dropped.
It was all illusion.
Well, he'll like rub some
not
of the
blood,
dried blood
but-
off of his face. I mean, not all illusion, but I needed a way to keep all of you, but you specifically, Stan. I needed a way to keep the crown away from you so that it couldn't corrupt you as it was already doing. And I needed to make sure that we got to Seika's Keep with as much urgency as possible.
I thought you were dying,
That was the plan.
and it wasn't your time yet. So the
It's another long drink from his mead.
And Stan, as you're having this moment and Snow is not answering, in kind of this quiet moment, you see the door open again, and swiftly and quietly, you see the form of Bo going by. You're the only one kind of looking in that direction, and he's not looking in your direction as he is very quickly from one door to the next door, just heading towards where the novice hut is.
Someone's stealth roll was not as high as
Oh, he wasn't stealthing.
Oh, got things to do.
Viola, after we heard that, she is gonna yell at Bo in her mind, like, Snow was lying, he was never sick.
Well, isn't that kind of a relief then? Weren't you concerned that he was dying?
Yes, but you're no help.
He's going to then message Snow, because Snow's in this. It sounds like you are making friends over wherever you are.
That's one way to put it, I suppose.
And Bo, you
Stan
were
notes
making...
that Bo went by,
Okay.
and she doesn't say anything about it yet.
Bo, you were making
If
your
you,
way up to the
mailboxes.
barracks there? The common area? Okay,
Yeah.
just making sure.
If you want to stop by, feel free to. You might get to see Stan slap someone other than yourself.
Well, I'd love to see it, but I got one more thing I gotta do.
Alright, well, that would sound like you'd enjoy it too much.
And Bo, you make your way upstairs. We'll cut to you quickly. As you head up to the common area, you get to your mailbox. You do see a number of them have that kind of familiar faint blue glow, including yours and Snow's and Stan's and Viola's are of the ones that are glowing.
I was gonna
And
ask, because you said there are names on them. Does he recognize any of the other names, not as people that he met since being there, but maybe just names in general?
Give me an investigation check.
Ooh, 30-20.
You don't recognize any particular names. You see maybe at least one name that feels of like a very cultural name, as if it were from a very specific location. And to have someone, it seems like it'd be a very regal, maybe like an elvish name. And to have someone who would so blatantly be an elf maybe seems odd to you, that they'd be taking part in something like this.
Okay. But I don't necessarily recognize like the family name or anything like that. It just sounds like that. Okay, cool.
Mhm. And as you reach for your mailbox, you get that message that you had received. Happy to report, made it to Fandela. No tombstone, so congratulations. No sign of the pack. Now for my favor. In this
Okay.
very flamboyant sounding voice.
Alright, so now I can respond to that one.
You may.
Alright. Helena, call me Bo. Found ledger in wrecked carriage, will send. Found 2 potential workers, will update. Notice sister's name on ledger. Scarlet A, explain.
And it goes quiet in your mind for a moment. And then you hear a response. She says, Ledger. I'll share. First, recover all my goodies and bring them to Hazelford. No more snooping, my dear. Prying eyes cost prying fingers. Best.
Goodies are basically gone. Got a few, and that's all. There is a painting, a safe, the ledger, a pot, and that's about it. That's what you want?
You don't get another response.
Annoying woman.
Give me an insight check.
21.
You know about her. You know that her voice can say one thing, that she always tends to have that very flamboyant atmosphere about her that most people can take as, oh, she's just very jovial. But you know, even without hearing her response, just the way she left it, especially with that very gentle, bordering on a threat, that when she says all, she means all. So however you want to interpret that, you know that she means what she had there, she wants.
And then he could see mail in his box, right?
Yes. So if you open the box now, see what appears to be a small, pinned together stack of papers. And on the front kind of title page, it reads, Novice Handbook.
He's gonna roll his eyes and put it in his bag.
Quick,
Sounds
Bo,
good.
steal all of them.
Well,
Don't
is
let
there?
them know.
Well, was there any other mail? Face off.
There was nothing else in there.
All right. So he is going to see if he could reach into whoever is of the three's mailbox is closest? Because he said they were all glowing.
You try to pull open another mailbox and it stays perfectly in place. It doesn't even like jimmy or shake, it just stays perfectly still.
All right, then, yeah, I'll just leave it at that then.
Okay.
And I guess head back to the lobby and see if he can see them? Or back to whatever the place is called.
Mm-hmm.
The
The Wild Pike?
Yeah, that's it.
Excellent. So, yeah, it's easy enough. You head back down the steps, back through a very short part of a hallway, and you find yourself back in the Wild Pike. To the same description earlier, it's quite empty. It's quite sparse in there. There's very few people at the table. On your way in, you had passed by the others. They were off to the side, just like Viola told you. On the other side, you saw a woman sitting by herself. You could see she's strumming very gently. She's where that soft music is coming from this lyre. She every now and then kind of flips her long curled purple hair behind her and then starts as if to clear it out of her eyes and then starts strumming again. And then one other table that now that you've entered again is more noticeable as there's just minor bits of commotion among the three men sitting at that table. There's two humanoids and a dwarven figure. And the only thing kind of noteworthy at the moment, other than they seem to be talking in hushed but gruff voices, is they also have a cloak. It's not the same kind of just plain brown. It's a little bit darker, a little bit more sleek, but it also has an emblem on the brooch. It has a familiar brooch of Gratimino. But the others are off in the other corner.
He will...
And you should have control of your token.
Yeah, so I'll just bring him up. He's gonna steal a seat from this table and then bring it over.
You slip in, join them at the table as there is this tension among them, and you can immediately tell there is tension at the table. You could slice it like a knife.
Viola's sitting there, she's got her arms crossed, and she's just kind of staring down at the table.
Stain has pushed her glass away and she's put her mask back up. She gives Bo a little glance when he walks over and pulls up a seat.
What, did someone, step on Buttercup or something? What is going on here?
Snow lied. That's what's going on.
And why did he lie?
To protect the rest of you.
Well, I mean, it might be slightly presumptuous, but it doesn't sound... I don't know. Didn't really take me out of my way.
I understand it here, and she gestures to her head. I can see the logic. I can see why. I don't understand it here. And she gestures towards her heart, I don't understand it there yet. That's going to take some time, and I don't... Perhaps it's a little bit selfish, but I thought I had prayed for a miracle, and a miracle had happened at that temple. At the Sacred's Keep. It appears it wasn't what I thought. And that might... I'm not sure yet.
Maybe your prayers were heard, just not in the way that you expected them to be. Maybe it was your prayers that kept me from being corrupted as you were.
Yeah, I don't know about all that, but are you honestly telling me you two never lied before? Alright, apparently.
Like that?
Okay. Well, how about this? Different subject. Tomorrow, what are we doing?
I would like to check in and make
believe we
sure
have
that
to-
Captain Nora made it back, and I'd like to see if they found Kalain or not. I feel awful for leaving her there now, especially knowing that Snow is fine.
Stayed in fault.
Well, I mean, if it was just those chickens in the woods, then I'm sure Kalain should be fine.
You don't really think it was just those chickens in the woods, do you?
I mean, there's potential it wasn't just them, but at the same time, we saw nothing else proving that there was anything else there.
Viola, it wasn't about me. I didn't want to just leave. It wasn't for my sake. We had to get the crown to safety. We had to get the crown out of there. It mattered. It was important. That was the biggest danger, more than anything else there.
I understand your motivations, like Stay In said. However, it's going to take me a little bit to overcome this slight sense of betrayal and a break of trust. I just feel like my decisions would have been different had I have been fully aware of the circumstances, and that hurts. But, like I said, I understand in the grand scheme of things your motivations.
I did what I thought was best in the moment, and that's all I can expect any of you to do. So I am sorry for any long-term distress caused, and also any magic that you used on me, Stan. It's very much appreciated.
I don't begrudge you that.
Alright, so what about going to that not mundane arcane tomorrow then?
I mean, I'm down.
Yeah, I do have a dare to fulfill.
Why are you moving your head like that? Stay in.
It was an abrupt conversation shift, and I'm still processing it.
Alright, well,
Sometimes
Sorry, what?
when you can't process feelings, sometimes it's nice to just move on to something different and give it some time. It's a welcome shift in conversation.
As you are all processing and shifting conversation, give me another perception check.
Jeez, a lot's happening at 1 in the morning.
Okay, 18, 20, 11, and 3. Okay, Bo and Viola, as you start to shift the conversation, you two happen to notice two more people coming in. They both look like they are looking around. They look like maybe they're looking for someone. They make for the table where those three men are, the three males across the way. And those three have gotten a little bit louder. The conversation is hard to make out, if there even is a conversation, but it's almost become a matter of just a lot of the dwarf kind of, every now and then his fist hits the tabletop. The others kind of quiet a little bit. Conversation goes on. Something else. He hits something else, slams the chair or something. And after these two other people, they are also wearing the kind of darkened cloaks over their otherwise simple but efficient leather armor. They stop briefly. They speak to the dwarf, who is mid-fist coming back down on the table, and he pauses. Stan, you got the dirty 20. The air feels tight, as if he were making any kind of residual noise. Even the lyre has stopped playing, and he slowly lowers his hand to the table, and then he stands very abruptly. The chair goes pushing back, and he starts yelling in Dwarvish. Do any of you speak Dwarvish?
Yes.
Snow does? Oh. I was about to say, like, oh, but that nat one, I don't know, you might be deep
The
in
only
that drink.
person who's not paying attention.
Yeah, you've been downing drinks quite a bit, so it makes sense.
The sound of his voice almost blends into whatever else is going on in that harried mind of yours. But the room, you notice it after a moment, but by that point he's stopped yelling and he has looked to the other two seem to be trying to calm him down at this point as he goes over to the bar and he's speaking to Darian. I had hailed him over, speaking to Darian now.
While
The
he's
other
at
two
the...
are...
Oh, sorry.
Mhm.
Well, I'm going to say, while he's at the bar, Bo actually doesn't have a drink yet. So Bo's going to head over to the bar and also go for a little picky pocket.
Pickpocket, huh? Okay. You make your way over. I will even allow you to make this roll with advantage.
Perfect.
If you want to go over there, he actually is still going on in Dwarvish as he's pointing at Darian and he's saying things. And Darian seems to be nodding along with his very calm face as the dwarven man's face is getting very red.
So it's a 12 plus, if I need it, the psionic dice gives me up to a 17.
As this dwarven man is going on, and Darian is just, he's kind of taking it like a champ. Whatever it is, it seems to almost be potentially a scolding or a venting of something, but Darian's just nodding, letting the man talk. And you just kind of reach into a little pocket. And, are you reaching for something, or are you taking, like, a whole coin purse, or?
I mean, what are you
reaching for?
Whatever he could see that he would want to get, like a value or something like that, then he would go for. So it'd probably,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're able to kind of snatch the little pocket, a little coin purse from him.
Nice.
That seems he seemed not paying attention to.
Do you want me to burn the psionic dice because of that, or was the 12 enough?
Burn the die.
Okay. How much? If he's gonna look into the bag, how much is in there?
Are you immediately looking in? Are you getting back?
I
to the
mean, he's
table?
gonna. Well, he still hasn't ordered his drink, so he's just gonna like go off to the side a little bit
That's
and then
true.
look.
That's true. You find 10 gold pieces in there.
Excellent.
A couple of scattered silver, as if he had been making change.
All right. Do you want to say like, I don't know, 6? I'm trying to dot log this. So
I'll give you 3 silver out of it with your
Okay.
10 gold stolen from this incredibly angered dwarf. And you actually see Darian. There seems to be a calmness in Darian's presence as he actually lays his hand on the dwarven man's shoulder and lowers him onto one of the stools, the bar stools, and hands him a full stein, a full stein, all for you.
Ooh, that's a
Hands
lot.
him. That's a lot to handle. I don't think even a dwarf can handle all that. Hands him a stein, and it's full of a frothy drink. The dwarven man stares at it, and he just beats his fist on the tabletop again.
Bo's gonna look over towards the dwarf. You sound like you're having a bit of a day, so how about this? I'll cover that drink. You go on back to your seat.
Roll a persuasion.
I am all out of psionic. Oh wait, that was performance. Ignore that. Persuasion. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know if you recover them on a short rest, but
Long rest.
okay.
All right, I got 24 on persuasion.
What was the performance check?
It was that one.
I was like, what? Why did we? Okay. Okay. He looks at you and his fist rises as if he's ready to strike you. And then he shakes his head and beats the tabletop again and just says, "Oh, well, thank you."
It's my pleasure.
Wonder nuts. And he just seems incredibly upset. Almost to the point of like he's holding back big old tears. But he is just red in the face, hands shaking. And then he looks at you.
Oh.
You one of the missing novices?
Are we popular or something?
Are you or are you not?
Okay, yes, okay.
So you were there then?
There, as in where we were assigned, or
Wherever the hell you went.
we were certainly there.
What happened?
Which part?
Where are my friends?
Oh, friends. Yeah, so they might be still a couple miles out that way.
Don't lie to me. I know Komugal made it back. Where's...
Oh, are you asking about the big lady?
And his eyes land on you, and they just settle into a glare. Her name was Kalain.
Well,
She was a mighty warrior.
well, let's not say was and all that. She is a mighty warrior.
He shakes his head. I already know what's happened to her. And he stops again. She didn't deserve that. I don't know what happened out there. I don't know what you were doing, what they were asked to do. Watch what you do. There's going to be hell. There's going to be hell to pay.
Well, as
And
long
he's-
as someone else is paying it, that's fine.
Roll a dexterity.
Like a save or a check?
Not a save, a check.
13.
Okay.
Bar fight.
Wait, we tied?
You sure did. As he looks away for a moment and then comes back around and just swings this massive fist into, like, right across your cheek. You will take 3 bludgeoning damage as he just swings around.
Wait, I'm gonna...
Do the rest of us see this?
That's what I was gonna ask.
The 3 of you, give me a perception check. I'll let you roll with advantage because this got loud very quickly. Yeah, you
15.
guys, you heard the raised voice. You looked in time. You're positive Bo said something stupid, and then this fist came across and clocked him. It knocked over the bar stool he was standing on. It spilled the
Sitting
drink
on?
that Darian had put in front of him, and Darian backed up. Yeah.
So is
He-
Bo on the
he's-
ground?
I will not say you went prone, but you
Alright.
staggered. But I'll say you stayed standing.
Viola's gonna mind link say to Bo, Viola, please apologize to the very large man and just walk away, please. And she's gonna start
No
making her way
gets up.
over there.
Is there
Yeah.
anything
Dan
by
gets up
him
and
at
just
arm's
yells.
reach?
Is there a what?
Is there anything near his arm, like in grabbing range?
There's the tipped over stein. There's, I suppose, another bar stool if you really want to get funky with it.
Oh,
Maybe a
actually.
dish.
So is he
Leftover
still
dish.
staring Bo in the face?
He is. He doesn't look like he's gonna strike again, but he's as if looking down on you for what you said.
Bo's going to grab from, because he put it in like one of his side pouches, the shards of gold that he grabbed from the temple that were like a fine dust, and he's going to whip it in the guy's face.
Oh my god! Real pocket sand.
That's why he grabbed it.
Pocket gold. That is the most expensive pocket sand ever. Okay.
He just looks fabulous now.
Glitter.
Glitter. It's just glitter. Let's make this an improvised attack.
Oh yeah, if it's improvised, I think it's just a d20 then, right? Because I don't have proficiency
Viola
with
get over there?
improvised.
Yeah, you're not in full initiative at this point. It's kind of a back and forth between these two gentlemen. Y'all can start making your way over.
What am I rolling
Dane's just
then?
gonna stand up and
You still
yell,
add your dex.
"Stop this!"
Oh, I could still add my dex?
Yeah, you wouldn't add your proficiency bonus.
Okay, cool. Now I'll just make a dex throw. Ooh, nat 20.
Oh, dang.
Right in the eyes.
Okay, yeah, you throw it into his eyes. He reels back. Oh, and there's all manner of expletive in common and in dwarvish that are leaving this man's mouth. And now, Snow, you can hear all of what he's saying.
So
At
is he
least
now?
one or two of those words could even make maybe a traveled man blush as he's saying these things.
He's blinded then, right?
He's struggling. I mean, it was a nat 20. Yeah, he's struggling. He's rubbing at his eyes. He's definitely not looking anymore at you.
Cool. So then I should have advantage if I throw a knife at him. Because he's blinded.
He's blinded.
All right, sweet.
Viola is moving over to try and get in between you two and any attacks that may happen.
Well, you would have
Either
to.
We'll have at this point. Let's do a quick initiative roll and see where everyone is. We had a one surprise round.
Hey,
Let's
Bo
do a
was
quick
trying to
initiative
just buy
roll.
him a drink with the money he stole from him, and she decided to go throwing arms.
Kind. How kind. All right. Well, with this particular round, Snow, you would have. You are at the top of the initiative. As things are kind of getting a little wild, a little bit out of hand. You're a little more collected than perhaps the others are, and you make your way. You start to make your way over. What would you like to do?
He's going to yell out to them, Hey, what are you doing? Leave him alone. Because for all Snow saw was Bo getting whacked across the jaw.
Solid whack. Okay.
Take it easy, everyone. Just calm yourselves down. And
Bo started a bar fight.
yes, that's gonna.
He started a bar
that's
fight.
gonna be it for his turn.
Okay, sounds good. You're saying this in common as you're shouting out to everybody? Okay. The dwarf is still blinded, actually. He cannot see. He hears voices yelling at him. He has also heard Darian, who had stepped back just a little bit, also trying to calm the situation, but instead he's gonna start swinging wildly.
Also, I forgot his movement for the turn. He'll use his action to dash to get closer as well.
Excellent. Is that his full dash?
Yeah, that's as far as
Okay.
he can get.
Perfect. You are now much closer to see this dwarf who starts a wild swing. So he's going to roll with disadvantage because he's trying to strike at something he cannot see.
Oof. Ooh, both miss.
That is so a 10 would be the one we go with, which is a miss, and you see him takes a wild swing at you, but he well clears the air, and as you step aside his blind strike as he goes to attack again. That's a nat 1.
Yes.
Should we go for 2 nat 1s? Let's see if we can do it. Can we confirm the nat 1? Nope, but still. The nat 1 leading to a 7. This time, he tries to just leap forward where he thinks you are, and clear misses, lands on your other side, taking 2 of the bar stools with him as he collides with them and gets tangled in them. The 2 at the other table are also now shouting over, and you just hear shouts of, Dormer, relax! Dormer, calm down! But they also seem hesitant to go near him as he's in this blind rage.
I knew that gold dust was going to be helpful. I just didn't think it would be for a bar fight.
Viola,
She will dash. Can she? I'm gonna put her right here, but can she squeeze between them?
you can't end your turn on the same space as someone else, but you are close enough that if you mean to interrupt something or whatever it is,
Yeah.
that's about the distance you'd be able to get to.
She's gonna just say to Bo, like, please, Bo, can we just leave this be? I don't really want any more fighting today. We're home finally. Can we just go to bed and then go shopping tomorrow? And then, I think I would have had to dash to get to where I am. So can I say that I'm ready to jump in between if Bo tries to attack him or if he tries to attack Bo?
If you dash, that means you've used your action for additional movement, so you cannot ready an action per se. You've already used the action you would have had.
Okay.
But the speaking is a free action, so you can attempt to persuade him.
That's all
He's
she's
ignoring
got.
you.
Aww. It's Bo's turn too, dang.
He's going to take his knife and he's going to, his dagger, and he's going to swing it down, and he wants to have it go right by his head. Holding it in his hand and stabbing it onto the floor, but next to the guy's head.
You're not striking him.
Yeah.
You're intimidating him.
I guess you could almost say it's something like that.
Because I would have you roll an intimidation versus an actual strike. You're trying to essentially scare him to stop, is what it sounds like.
Yes. But he also planned to say something quietly into his ear.
Talking is a free action. You could do both.
Okay, but I'm making sure it's note that it's trying to be quiet. So first, I guess, intimidation, which is a 14. And he slams the knife next to him, and then he moves down. Listen, I've already been hit multiple times in the face. You do it again, and I will kill you. And then he'll take his knife up.
See how that intimidation does. Shoot, dang. That's going to be against his...
For this instance, it's not usually a contested roll. It's usually the DM sets
Just
the
a DC. I see. Okay. Because he'd already rolled it before I had a chance to, set. So I was going to be like, well, let's just see what happens. Okay. Was there anything else you wanted to do?
Well, he's now gonna, pull the knife up, and he's gonna stand up, and I guess he's gonna walk away. Because he's on the ground, so...
Do you get opportunity attacks if you're prone and someone leaves your...
Oh, he does? That's the only reason why I said you. Otherwise, I would just disengage and walk away. I thought you couldn't if you're prone.
I mean, that's your decision. Yeah.
Well, because he has
he
it.
can-
He has the bonus action still, because he didn't use it to actually disengage earlier. So he'll just disengage and walk away. I didn't realize prone
Sure.
people can still do that.
I also now learned this.
Yeah.
You
So
have disadvantage, but you can still do it.
Okay, so you're going to disengage, though?
yeah, and I guess
Sounds good.
get to there. As his free talk, since that was intimidation, which I'm guessing is his action, he's gonna yell over to Darian, I guess is his name, but Bo doesn't know that. Sorry,
guy.
yeah, Bar dude, can you send over something strong over to the table back? Thank you. I'll pay you then, and I'll still cover that fool's drink.
His eyes are on, they would be on the dwarf, except that the dwarf is on the ground behind the bar. But on the other side of the bar, I should say. But he's looking in the direction of the dwarf. He doesn't look up at you.
Well, that's fine. He was basically yelling it over his shoulder anyway.
Fair. Stay in?
Stay in. She's headed for the door. She's done.
Is that the door to leave or to go to the opposite?
Wherever way this closest door is going, that's where she's going.
Outside. Excellent. She's like, peace. Done here.
Yeah.
If you want to exit, is that as far as you can go, or did you want to exit entirely, like you leave?
No, she'll exit entirely.
Okay, no worries. Stan, without a word, stands walks out. Give me a perception check real quick.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
15.
As you're leaving with the smallest of glances in that, even in that general direction, about how foolish they are all behaving, you see the girl in the corner with the lyre and keep having to move her curls out of her face as she's stopped strumming to watch. But then she sees you leave, kind of follows your glance for a moment as if she's looking out the door as you open it, and then looks back at the commotion. But she's kind of like half turned in her chair as if the chair were itself some kind of defense for her in case something should come flying at her. But she seemed to take a quick peek out the door as you had opened it before turning back. Snow.
Snow is going to move around the table to be over here between the dwarf and Bo, and he's going to say to Bo, might would be a good idea to lay low for a bit. Would you like to be invisible?
No, it's fine. I think we have an understanding.
All right, and yeah, that's it. It's his turn.
Okay.
He's just gonna survey like what are these two people doing?
They are watching the dwarf, and they look pale. They look terrified, as their friend or this other person, this dwarf, is on the ground, and he's begun like batting his fists on the ground again and again after Bo had gotten up from him, maybe looking like he's prepared to push himself back up. They look just absolutely ghost white.
Snow's gonna use the rest of his movement to walk over here next to Viola.
The dwarf clambers back to his feet. He's solidly tall for a dwarf, honestly. He's probably just shy of 5 foot as he stands up, and he's looking like a nice little shiner is forming on his face from where he had fallen, and he's still kind of clawing at his eyes, huffing his breath. Where is he? Oh, where is he? He's trying to get his eyes clear, but he looks like he's ready to... Actually, he does wildly swing again. Viola is the nearest. He doesn't know this. Viola is the nearest as he just swings. That is an 11. Does an 11 hit, Viola? No. Even without the armor, she is blessed by the gods. As he just wildly swings with one arm, he's just yelling in utmost anger as he swings wildly again. Does a 15 hit? 15 will hit. As one of his wildly swinging fists connects with you in an unexpected
cutting
manner.
Words as my reaction to bring that down a bit. In Dwarvish this time, Snow is just gonna call out, "Whoa, friend! Just take it easy for a bit. Let's just calm down." That reduces it by 4.
To always at least 1 or to nothing at all?
I think it's the attack, though.
I'm lowering the attack by the hit by 4.
Gotcha. So that brings it down to an 11.
Yeah.
That brings it back down to 11.
Okay.
So that wouldn't hit.
All right. He brings that second strike around, and you see it coming, Snow. You immediately call out, and you speaking and hearing the Dwarvish all of a sudden from someone else in the room completely takes him off guard, and his fist goes wide. And he stops, and now he's looking in the direction. You can see his eyes are beet red, looking incredibly irritated. And you see these specks of gold just going across his face, almost like a poorly made glittery mask. And he's just baring his teeth. Viola?
Viola's gonna move in front of him, and she's gonna look at Darian, right? That's the barkeep's name. Darian, would you happen to have a glass of water and a damp cloth that I could use to help him?
If you're brave enough to go near him, yes, absolutely, but maybe stand back a little bit till we can get him calm. And he actually will, as he's watching all of this, he will reach as if everything is right where he needs to be, or he knows his bar very well, and pulls out a rag that he begins to dampen before he'll hand it to you.
So then in a calm voice, "Hey, we mean you no harm." Well, when I say we, I mean me and my current friend that is here. Clearly you've been caused some discomfort by another individual. I'm just trying to help you, and she's gonna try to wipe the gold dust out of his eyes with the cloth.
Roll me a persuasion.
Oh no.
Roll it with advantage.
Ooh, with advantage, maybe.
Mhm.
Oh,
That's an 8
With advantage?
or
Okay.
a 13.
Say, like, I tried.
was she?
Okay. You start to speak, and you're not sure what it is exactly. You're not sure. But he starts to calm. His shoulders become ever so slightly less tense as you start to step near him. And you touch the cloth to his face. You start to wipe at his face on the side opposite of where there's a giant bruise forming from when he crashed into the ground and into those stools. He doesn't strike at you. You actually hear him just all he just says a word in Elvish, and then you hear Kalain. So
What's the
word, not
word in
Elvish,
the
I'm sorry, Dwarvish.
Dang
A
it,
word
I
in
was
I
like,
know.
Dwarvish.
Elvish. I speak Elvish. I don't speak Dwarvish, though.
You hear a word in Dwarvish, and then you hear the name Kalain.
What was the
Kalain.
dwarvish word?
The Dwarvish word was deer.
Viola, can she still talk to him?
I'll let you say one more thing.
I was on the trip that was supposed to be picked up by Kalain. I tried to help find her, and we haven't found her yet.
Okay, Bo?
I'm guessing he just heard her say that then, because it doesn't sound like they're trying to be quiet about it.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like she's not whispering to him, it doesn't sound
Yeah. He's gonna using the mind link. Viola, he attacked me over the whole entire thing with Kalain and the fact that I was on the one getting picked up, so good luck with that.
Well, we do have some different dispositions, so I might be okay.
I was buying him a drink.
Words can hurt, Bo.
Bo is going to continue to... Well, actually, are these two
Mm-hmm.
still looking this way then? Pale as ghostsies.
Bo's fingers feeling a little sticky again. Oh my gosh.
They are not. They start to look at each other as it seems that Viola has begun to soothe the beast, you might say, and they kind of look at each other in some awe as they so slowly start to sit in their chairs. They're a little wary, but they're like looking at each other and kind of talking low to each other now. So they seem to be aware of each other, not so much of that direction any longer.
Which exit did Stan leave from?
She left the front door.
Which one's that? I can't really tell.
Up top.
Oh. I was just gonna run over and catch up with her.
Sounds good. I will say we will drop initiative as the dwarf appears to have calmed enough to stop swinging at everyone. When he can finally see out of at least one eye, he looks at you, Viola. Give me an insight check. And Snow, you can as well if you'd like.
14.
9.
And a 9. Snow, this has been a long evening. There's been a lot going on. You're more relieved than anything that more fighting has stopped. This was clearly not the intention. Viola, as he's looking at you, you can see whatever that word might have been in Dwarvish. What's more important is that this name was meaningful to him. He's kind of picks up one of the stools that he had knocked into, sets it down harder than necessary, slumps into it, shakes his head. Well, at least one of you made it back here alive.
Bo, as he's leaving, he is going to send a quick mind link to Snow. Snow, by the way, I wouldn't... completely up to you, but if you could avoid it, you probably don't want him picking up any kind of tab or reaching for his coin purse.
Understood.
Viola's just gonna kind of stand next to him at the bar, not taking a seat, but not facing him either. Like, she's facing the bar, kind of looking down, and she's just gonna say, I don't know her well, but I do have hope that she's out there somewhere putting up a fight, and a good one at that. I hope that eventually we can find her and bring her back and bring her captors to justice. And if there's any missions going to do that, I'll be the first to sign up.
He was just slowly nodding his head, but there was no real commitment to it as you were speaking before he leans back against the counter and says, much as I appreciate it, your second patrol or whatever it was that happened out there, well, they're back with all the tidings. They found her all right. She's not coming back from this one.
So nothing that can be done.
I didn't hear much. They don't like to share a lot of news around here where it's important, but sounds like not. Sounds like she was not the lucky one to face off with those beasts today. But at the very least, I suppose, she went out how she would have wanted. Swinging that sword, she deserved that much. And at least my other friend is alive.
Snow's going to say to him in Dwarvish, she was dear to you, and he puts a hand on his shoulder.
He kind of stiffens a little bit for a moment, but relaxes. Everything.
Viola's gonna, with one hand, kind of pat his arm, and with her other hand, she's gonna take out 3 silver pieces and put them on the bar and just look at Darian and nod her head towards this Dwarvish man whose name we don't know. And then she'll turn and start to walk away towards the... I guess she didn't see where everybody else went, so she's gonna see that people are gone and she's gonna start walking towards the barracks, basically, or sleeping quarters.
Okay. That'll be towards the bottom of the map. And Darian acknowledges your gesture, and as the dwarf kind of turns, and then he just lowers his head to the counter, doesn't say anything else. Darian looks to you, Snow, and I don't know how you 4 do it. Every time, it's always something exciting. But we are glad that you're back alive.
Thank you, Darian. I'll have another mead, or something stronger.
Yes, you will. He goes to the back, and you see the woman come back in with those 2 horns. She comes and approaches you, and one of the horns has another bit of that beautiful metal work on it, going up and along it in this curling metal pattern. She lays 2 cups in front of you, and she says, "You only need to pay for 1. She pats you on the head. "And if you need anything else, I'm Emil. Come find me. I think Darian's going to be taking care of his friend here."
Thank you, Emil. I love your hair, by the way.
Thank you. I took the time. And aren't these lovely? And isn't this lovely? And she gestures to her necklace as well, which is like sitting higher on her neck, almost like a choker, but there is like plenty of space to see it kind of glinting against her skin, which also has like a gentle kind of glittering about it, as if she were very done up.
He is going to lean forward as if he's inspecting the pendant. That is quite magnificent, although it looks like there's a little something right here. And he goes to as if he's going to wipe a smudge off of it with his finger. But as he touches it, instead he casts Minor Illusion and just causes a flurry of blue butterflies to come as if they're scattering out of the pendant. Just these bright blue butterflies that flutter around for a few moments before scattering.
And she loves that. She loves everything about that. And she starts this cute little giggling. But first it's like a surprise, like, "Oh!" And then she looks back at you. "You need to come by more often."
He's going to down the cup. No promises, but I'm sure I'll be around. And then he will stand up. "Good night, Emil."
Good night.
And he's smiling. He turns away, and he's going to wipe a tear away from one of his eyes. And he'll go back to the barracks.
All right. As you're heading out, Emil actually has another drink in her hand, and she starts to walk in the direction of where your table previously was, and then realizes no one's there now, and looks at the drink, looks at the table, goes on back to the to the bar where Darian is now standing with the dwarven man. And you did overhear him being called Dolmer.
So what direction was Stayin and Bo heading in then? Because I didn't...
You guys are heading towards the exit, back towards the kind of square, where on
so
the
we're
other
heading
side is the
outside?
sparring.
Outside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stayin headed out.
Bo was just going in the direction she was going. You didn't really pay that much attention as to what it was.
That's fair. Stayin, where did you go?
She just went outside and basically sat right along the wall by the door. Just didn't want to deal with whatever that was inside.
Okay, Bo, you just went to follow?
Yeah, I mean, he went out that door, so...
Okay, and that's where you would have found her.
I didn't start the fight, so you know.
I have no doubt that you didn't start the swinging, but you forget that you often forget what words can do, and it seems that you always, it's neither here nor there.
Yeah, well,
I'm sure you have
apparently
reasons for why you
there's...
did what you did.
there's people that apparently, hopefully he's the only one, but he was mainly upset at me because we were missing. He knows big
Elaine.
lady? Colleen?
Colleen,
Yes, he knew
yes.
her. So that was apparently a bit of contention.
Before they get too far off, like after Viola left the room, I think, is the mind link still up? Wasn't it for like 3 hours?
It's
or
5
something?
hours.
Okay, so yeah, definitely. So she's just gonna pop in real quick and just say, Bo, he was upset because Colleen is dead, and she was very dear to him, just to let you know.
Noted. Alright, apparently Colleen's dead.
Death can be quite disruptive and disturbing to many, especially if it is someone who has been cared for. And in times like that, even though I don't know if you had well-meaning words, even well-meaning words can go astray.
I mean, I don't even know if I was meaning well. Well, actually, I didn't know she was dead, and he kept using her name in past tense, so I was trying to be hopeful. I was trying to cheer him up, and I told him I'd buy him a
I'm
drink.
sure you did everything you thought was right. I'm sure in your mind everything makes perfect sense, and that is apparently a lot of what we're dealing with tonight.
Yes. But, I mean, that stuff should come out of his eyes relatively easy with some water.
I'm sure it will. Good night, Beth.
Are you
Stay
sleeping
until
outside? Oh, what were you saying?
She's just gonna stand up and walk away from him. Yeah, she's staying outside. She's gonna find somewhere. She needs space. That's what she's looking for.
Sounds good. Oh, are you staying outside as well?
What kind of rooftops are we dealing with here?
We are dealing with lovely shingled, coned rooftops.
Dang it. There's none that are, like, kind of plateaued in certain spots?
It's possible. Give me an investigation check.
9.
Not visible from here, which doesn't give you much hope. You'd have to probably search and search if you wanted to, but that sounds like a lot of effort.
So has Stain completely walked away at this point, or is she still kind of in earshot?
She's probably still in earshot.
Do you have a map? Sorry, I get that you're going. I'm just wondering, and then I'll go.
I don't have a map on me that I'm aware of.
Hmm.
No, I don't think we were given maps.
Okay.
You've passed by a number of those notice boards, the job boards. On those, they'll give you a sense of where you are.
Well, he wants a sense of the world, not the town.
Oh, the whole world.
But Hazelford apparently has something to do with there.
You can
Or would he just know where that is?
you can give me a history check.
6. Though it might be geographically challenged.
Maybe a touch. You've been through southern Yarusha, but sometimes when you travel at night and things look different in the day, and maybe distances are just a little off tonight. Everything maybe feels a little bit off tonight.
Well, I guess he's gonna go towards his dorm.
And that was where Snow and Viola also went?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, Snow went to bed.
Snow and Viola and Bo when you get there. So, Viola, actually, you return to the barracks. You open the door. Almost all the other beds are occupied. You see it's a little dark. You do know you can light a candle if you need to. They have those. There's small bits of light you can use. As you light the candle, just to give yourself a way to get back, unless you're not going to. I don't want to assume, but
She probably would as she's like taking off the rest of her armor and getting ready for bed.
Okay. You head inside. Give me a perception check now that the light is on.
Dirty 20.
Excellent. You notice 3 things. The first thing you notice is the beds are occupied, except yours, and one other bed. In front of one of the lower bunks, you see someone. They're not moving. They appear to be kneeling in front of that bed. And you recognize that one as Lear's bed. And you see her in a simple nightgown. She's kneeling at her bed. There's something small in front of her. It looks like a small pouch that's slightly opened. There's little flecks of, it's hard to tell in the darkness, but it appears to be something grainy. And you can see her hands are clasped and her head forward on her hands clasped together. She's not moving, she's not saying anything. In fact, it kind of looks like she's sleeping, like she might have fallen asleep that way. On your bed, and first you notice on Stayan's bed, you see another small pouch. It looks like it's loosely tied up in some fabric, and it's sitting there on your bed. It looks like the pouch itself also is just, it's not pulled all the way tight. If you touch it, it feels kind of malleable and also gritty. It also feels like there's something a little harder inside of it, something a little stiffer inside of that pouch. And there's one on your bed and there's one on Stayan's bed. Are you going to open it?
Yep.
Inside, you pull out a small strip of parchment and there is a small bit of writing in common. It reads, "O Samlotl, tie your cloak of wellness about us and never reveal us to evil." And there are 4 names below that. You see Lear's name, a name that reads Kiara. In common, it's spelled Ciarra. You see a name that says Winna, Wynna. And slightly off to the side, slightly below the other names, or to the side of the other names, Cynthia, Cynthia.
Okay, she'll like wrap it back up and kind of just like set it with her stuff and then climb into bed. And then she's gonna get out her journal.
Bo and Snow, you guys, well, Snow, you get there first to your room, and most of the other beds are occupied. You haven't gotten to know your bunkmates well just yet. But you do see on your bed this small pouch wrapped in fabric, and if you choose to look, I think Bo had the top bunk.
No,
If you
I think
chose.
Snow took it.
Is Snow on
I
top?
have the top.
Snow
Yep,
has
I
the
got
top. So you do see on both
Yeah.
Bo and your bed this small pouch. It is also kind of malleable, has something gritty in it, but also that little piece of parchment in yours. It reads the same. "O Samlotl, tie your cloak of wellness about us and never reveal us to evil." And you see Lear's name, and you see 6 other names on that one. Urjan, Urjan. Arno, Chabodai, Chabodai. Bundraeg, Bundraeg. Gary, Gery, and Warrit, Worrit. All these names signed on this slip of paper. As you find that before you go to bed. Bo, give me a perception check when you get back into the common area.
13.
13? Okay. You also may be paying a little more attention. You've now been in there twice that evening since coming back. On your way back to your room, you notice this time one of the notice boards. It's on the opposite side of the mailboxes, and maybe that's why you hadn't seen it earlier. It catches your eye because it has a familiar image on it. You see this poster up on the notice board. It says, "Wanted, armed, and dangerous."
Oh.
And you see an image on it that looks very familiar to you from a few days ago. Looks kind of like one of your disguises. As this poster is put up in the notice on the notice board in the common room before you head inside to the barracks.
Can Bo rip it down?
You can.
Bo's gonna do that. He's just gonna
Just the quick.
and put it in his bag.
You guys head to sleep.
Did he have anything on his bed?
You did. You found the same little pouch.
When he saw it, can he make... I don't know what kind of checks, because he wouldn't instantly like start reading it. He would be more suspicious of it than like, I'm just gonna grab
Sure.
it, and I don't know what kind of check that would be, but he's going to be suspicious.
You can do an investigation.
Okay. He got that one.
Oh, that one. Okay, it's a bag of sand. I mean, someone could have put it there. Maybe it's a revenge sand from the pocket sand you threw at the dwarf. Maybe.
So he's just not sure what it is, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, you found this weird. Maybe it makes you a little uncomfortable. Like there's this weird bag of sand. There's even some sand on the bed, like on the bedding. Now you have to sleep with that. It's annoying.
Alright, well, I guess I'll brush off it a little bit, and he doesn't see the note then, or anything?
Well, the note is inside, so if you
Oh.
wanted to open the bag, you'd see it very easily.
I mean, if it's just causing sand all over, he would maybe pour it off next to the bed, just pour it on the floor.
Yeah, if you want to.
Right, so how did it start, the letter?
It read, "O Samlotl."
He would stop there and throw it on the
Oh.
ground.
Excellent. Stay in. I imagine you guys are heading to bed then. Viola's got her journal out. Stay in.
Yes.
Where did you head to?
She would go back to walk towards Saker's Keep and probably sit outside of it, lean up against the wall, and try to get some sleep.
As you sit outside, give me a perception check.
21.
You walk the path towards this building, that flat, rectangular building, simple, and yet there's such a presence about it. There's this clean, calming, strong presence about this pale stone that makes up this building. And immediately that sense that you had of that calm that you had gotten before, even with what was going on with Snow, it's broken immediately as you see this track of blood on the ground heading towards the building.
She'll follow it.
You go inside. There you see Yonai actually standing outside the door in his kind of fidgety way. He sees you approaching, holds a hand up. Sorry, you'll have to wait outside. For now. Hopefully not to intrude. Sorry. I hope that's okay. Do you want some more tea?
No tea. What's wrong?
Probably nothing. Probably not for long. Probably. They handle things a lot better. I'm new. They handle things. It's nothing
Right.
you need to worry about.
Right.
He
Are you
looks-
sure? You seem to be having a hard time. Are you alright?
Yes. Yes, is what I am told to say. Yes. Because that means I am calm and I am collected, and that is what my training is for. My goodness, that would. Ugh. I'm good. How are you?
Looking for some peace and quiet.
This would be a great place for that. I understand why you came here.
Yes, I've spent many, many hours in places like this, many days in places like this before.
What was your name again?
Staying alive.
Staying alive. And are you an acolyte?
I studied as one for many years, for quite some time, and the path was not for me.
Oh, and yet you find yourself coming here. And he keeps like
It's-
fidgety, looking back at the door and then looking back at you.
Places like this are the closest thing I can call a home.
Me too. It's nice to have a place, no matter where you go, that, well, they can look out for you, you know?
Exactly.
You didn't.
I serve Atala. Who do you serve?
Wow. I also serve Atala, in fact.
Indeed.
Yes. You seem a little, process.
You're free to
respond.
speak.
Yes, but if I start speaking, I've been told that I say stupid things.
Believe me, I've been around people who say much stupider than you could.
That's encouraging. I was going to say you don't entirely look the way one might expect.
No, I don't. And there are reasons for that. Those are things that I've had to learn and things that I've had to understand that brought me from where I was once more like you to where I am now.
So I get some cool, all that going on one day?
Hopefully not.
Not.
You seem to know quite well who you are. You seem to know quite well what you are. Pleasure that.
A loser, apparently.
That's not what I meant at all, and you know it.
No, I don't think you would mean it. I think we all have to start somewhere.
If you serve Atala, then you know she cares deeply about your vocation, about your own calling in life, and she will lead you to it. Maybe some bumps along the way. Maybe some trying different things and figuring things out. Maybe being a loser for a little while.
She said it.
But
You knew she was going to. You knew.
I think
Atala, you knew.
sometimes we have to be a loser for a little while to start finding ways to win.
Oh, I hope she's gonna win. Oh, sorry.
Who's
Ignore me.
Is it Nora?
Give me an insight check.
Well,
Oh dear. He just quickly shakes his head. No.
right. Do you know whoever's in there? Given the blood on the floor leading up to the door, they probably need some prayers.
Yeah. Did you want to come inside and pray? We do have a space specifically for Atala. She's very popular down here.
More popular here than my hometown, yes. Let's go. I'd love to. Where is it? Can you show me?
I can. I am not supposed to bring anyone inside. Dang it. Yonai. Come on, get with it. Okay. There is, and I can, in fact, show you. Aglin said, until they can clean up. Don't worry about it.
Whether I worry about it or not is not on you. It's my own
Okay.
decision who I worry for.
Did you want to pray out here instead?
I'd love to pray out here instead. Do you want to pray with me? You can still keep doing your job, keeping people out or from in. But I learned that prayer can help bring patience and peace. You could say I learned that the hard way.
Patience and peace, that sounds very good right now. Yeah. If that's not intrusive or anything, then I think a little prayer would work well for everyone involved.
Then let's take a seat and stay, and we'll just sit down on the ground, crisscross applesauce. She'll
Okay.
take off her glove and show up her little holy symbol and offer that hand out to Yonai to hold, like to take. Let's pray together.
His hands were clenched together in a very common way, and the sleeves were mostly covering his hand. And now that he very purposefully removes his hands from the gloves and holds one out to you, you see not across his palm, but tied tightly to his wrist, you see a very similar symbol. And he will take your hand and he'll kneel beside you. And you see him close his eyes in a way that seems like a shared manner.
She'll close her eyes too and just quietly start chanting some prayers, very softly. And that's where she's planning to stay the rest of the night.
Roll me a wisdom check.
13.
You don't know how much time has gone by. As your eyes are closed, you begin chanting. And very shortly into your chanting, you hear Yonai picking up right where you are, until you're essentially both speaking in turn, or in tune together. Some very common prayers to Atala, petition types of prayers. And you feel this sense coming over you. Your hand feels warm where your holy symbol is. And then all of you begins to feel a warmth that you haven't felt in a very long time. It feels like a channel is just beginning to kind of peek open. And there's this openness that is kind of, for all that's been going on, lifting your heart a little bit in anticipation, in excitement, in this feeling of something you've been waiting for a very long time. And then, in the middle of all of it, is this small speck of dread, tiny sense. And you feel it coming both from this open connection and also from Yonai. As you two begin this, or you go deeper into this prayer together, this channel seems to be opening up between the two of you, reaching out to Atala. And you keep getting these images in your mind and this sense in your heart. Something's happening, something going on around you. Could be recent memory, it could be right now. Someone hasn't earned that death, is the thought that crosses your mind for just that moment. And you go into the night. You're all sleeping, finally, eventually. Everyone please roll me a wisdom.
Snow's for
Nat 20.
Nat 20!
14.
19, surprisingly.
Stay
Staying white!
Dated here.
She's so caught up, man. She's high
Oof.
on that good Atala supply. Okay. Bo, you're sleeping pretty soundly despite everything going on. You're feeling pretty good. You've had a lot on your mind, but also you kind of feel a focus, right? There's something you need to do, and that's helping to kind of drive you. Snow, it's not an easy rest, but it's also not the same kind of dreadfulness that you've faced before. It's not that same way you felt when you were in the hovel after you went through all that with the crown nearby. It's not that kind of sense. So you kind of feel some peace for the first time in a minute. It's a little bit. Viola, it's not the easiest rest for you. You manage to eventually, after finishing that journal entry, slip into a bit of an uneasy rest. You get these kind of flashing senses as you're asleep. It's not quite a nightmare. It's not quite cohesive, but you're able to piece together what it might be that that's kind of being put in front of your mind. You see this image, you kind of see a dark room, you know that somewhere in that dark is an elegance. High walls, beautiful, if cold, marble floor below you. You know somewhere just out of reach there are beautiful tapestries. There are the finest of china just out of reach. But what you're more caught up on is this sudden sharp smack of you falling to the ground and the air leaving your lungs. And you hear this almost sickly sweet voice of a man saying, Viola, you made me look foolish. When he says your name, it almost sounds like a swear. But as you sort of dreadfully turn to look, again, flash and it's just darkness. But the voice is just replaying in your mind. Viola, you've made me look foolish. Going through the rest of the night. Stayin', a full-on image is going through your head again. And for just a moment of consciousness, you remember the last time you were kind of subjected to this, which was not at all long ago. And it's kind of like, really? I can't get just a moment? I'm praying to you, Atala. And it almost feels like a response. Maybe not what you were expecting. You're somewhere. It's you. These little feet standing where they know they shouldn't be. Your toes are wiggling in this dead grass. But, I mean, if they didn't tell you why, then they certainly didn't want you looking on. That makes sense. But something is planting your little feet in place as you watch this small crowd of backs in front of you, clad in their finest black attire. A solemn tune floats above them. The wind around this solitary oak tree seems to capture the song, spin it into a whirlwind of their tears, and shed it into a storm. The rain falls, sends everyone away, except these two lingering figures. Their words are harsh whispers that you know you shouldn't listen to, but you don't dare leave. The woman says, "It should never have happened." A man's voice says, "How could this happen? Who brought this? Why her? Why not her?" And their heads snap back to face you. You anticipate the familiar etchings of the man's and the woman's faces. And instead, you just see these shadows marring their image. It doesn't hide the anger and the hurt and the fear. They see you. Get out. Their voices chorus. Get out. And their words warble and crack and break behind this mask of darkness. And even so, you can feel this intensity of the stare waiting for you to obey them. What do?
Stand my ground.
They see you in that familiar disobedience, always acting up, never doing as you're told, always making things worse. And they scream and they barrel towards you. They're trailing this dark shadow in the wind. They reach you. They reach out their blurred arms towards you, and this force shoves you back. You stumble and you stabilize yourself, but you're not where you were. You're somewhere new. You're standing just outside of a stone room with a single raised coffin in the center. The threshold, though, is this passageway you're in that's just packed earth all around, is this tunnel. And etched into the cover of this little crypt, there's this thin key. And the carved case reaches no more than maybe 2 feet long. Sprouting from cracks in the stone floor are these thorny vines that end in these blood-red blossoms. And you know what's inside. And your heart calls to what's inside. What do?
Move towards it.
You step through the threshold. You enter this little crypt. You start reaching towards the stone. And the moment that you cross through, it's gone. You're in darkness. This heavy, sinking darkness that freezes you in place, just like the other. Every movement is a thorn in your skin. You don't hear any voices. You're alone there, and you're left with this sense of waiting. This unbearable waiting for something. You have no idea when it will come. And you're frozen as that until the morning comes. You're awoken, all four of you, staying again, not wanting to wake, but forced awake in this terrible, exhausted state. And I think that's where we're going to end tonight's session. Those nat ones are brutal.
So many.
You know, I don't know what to do except go where the dice lead me. Thank you guys so much for joining us at the table. Welcome to our new followers and our raiders. We are so glad that you are coming along for the ride. To our subscribers and donors, thank you guys for funding these adventures so we never run out of healing potions and mead. And to make sure you never miss a moment, be sure to subscribe on our YouTube channel at Tales from the Catacombs, where all of our sessions will be saved for posterity. Lastly, a particularly huge thank you to my players, David, who plays Bo and streams on Twitch under You Hate to See It, Catherine, who plays Stayin. She dabbles in her various geek circles on Twitter and Instagram under A Catholic Geek, Cassie, who plays Viola, and can be found on Instagram at Coffee, Koffeeh, and also on Twitter now, but I didn't get that one down. I think it's, well, we can talk
The
about it
same
afterwards.
thing, it just has the JH.
There you go. So it's Koffeeh.
JH.
JH. There it is. And Josh, who plays Snow, and you can wave at him here when you find him right here with us. You can also, as a special note, you can also say hello to all of us again on Friday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, where we will be over on twitch.tv/ptony for the incomparable game of favorites, the Amazing Catholic Comedy Game Show, and we'll be competing against each other with David as our co-host, I think. So he'll get to laugh at all of our very, very funny jokes, which we promise will be very, very funny. I'm Brenna. I'm your storyteller for this adventure, and we'll see you back here next time. Safe travels until we meet again.